What's up, everybody? How y'all doing? Welcome in. Mountain Dew in the morning. Okay, we're live. Okay, good. Hey, everything's working technically this morning. That's a good thing. 5150 Bayo. Sarah, how are you? And Leslie, good morning. Op Fox, thank you for the heart me. Good evening, or good morning. God damn it. You can tell I'm tired. Good evening, right? We got that running. All right, let's get going. Okay. Let's get all my settings done. All right, there we are. Okay, there we go. You're in the evening? That's all good. What's up, Groves? Groves Glass Gallery. Amazing creator. Go follow Groves on TikTok. She is doing live streaming and lamp working just like me. Give her a follow. John, how are you? Good evening. Or good morning. Jesus. Man, I am off today. Chris, what's up? And Laura, how are you? Melissa, good to see everybody. Welcome in. I know, man. I am just like trucking along. Websites coming along? Well, that's a good thing. Websites are not fun. I always tell people it's not about how good you are at glassblowing or what you can create. It's everything after. You know, you can be the best glassblower in the world, but if you can't get your product out to the customer or get it in front of people, it's useless. And that's the hard part. What's up, Jennifer? How are you? Mountain Dew in the morning. I need it, obviously. I'm definitely cooking here. So we're going to take the cracked uranium marble from 2 days ago. We're going to call it a studio, like a studio piece that's just kind of hanging out. We're going to see how long it sits before it blows up. We're going to bring it over to the side cam. So it's all cracked up. See, it's continuing to crack right there. We're going to kind of leave it out and see how long it takes before it just kind of falls apart. We're going to check out and see just how long that takes. And it may not happen for a while. We'll pop this guy over here for now. Keep it out of the way. There we go. Okay, quick note real quick. Let's get this stuff out of the way. This is my morning. This is exactly what goes on every day. When I come out here, this is getting ready. It's not as quick and simple as people would think. A little bead. Some AirPods just in case I need to do something separate. Uh-oh. And my little mints. Damn it. So these are little dry mouth mints that I use because the air around me gets so dried out that you can definitely start getting like dry mouth from everything. So I try and keep it to a minimum. All right, I got to get rid of this box. I'll just toss it over there for now. Okay, so I want to cover a couple things here. I have a few roses available. Okay, these are not made on live. They were made on live, but these are not like with a name attached to them. I think it's a good idea to save the cracked orb as a specimen of what cracked. Yeah, what cracked glass is like, and also we'll check it over time, and we'll watch how those cracks continue to grow, and why it happened. I know why it happened, but I'll explain it as we go through. All right, let's do some quick maintenance in the morning here. Last call. These are ready to go. These roses are ready to go. We're just going to do quick side views. So again, last call, peace rose. There we go. This has the pink and yellow to it. It's actually a beautiful, beautiful color. Like that. Okay, peace rose is available. And we have this, a couple of the version C, which is the jewel tones, okay? I got a couple of these guys ready to go. There are 3 of them total, okay? So we got option C available. And we have the blue-green sparkle. Very close to option C, but way more turquoisey aqua. I'm going to try and bring it way up to the camera. See if it'll focus it in there. So you can kind of see some of those little sparkle colors happening. See that little spot right there? It looks cracked. It's not. That's part of the striation. That's where we get these little color transformations, even right down there. Get those little striations in there. But I love this color. This is a badass color, to be honest. And then I have one with the Mega Mai Tai. Okay, this is the Mega Mai Tai version. I don't know why, but I really like this coloring. I think it looks, it's just different. Okay, we're going to park that off to the side for the moment. All right, let's go back to the front camera. There we are. PJ is in love. Thank you for that. Emailed you about that one. Okay, Bale. Gotcha. Send an email to thefieryguy.com. I can't remember the pricing. Stephanie handles it all on the back end. Sad girl. I'm sorry. Thank you for the jewels, sad girl. Okay, so here we go to, we're going to trim this one up. This is the amber purple from last night. And I'll show it to you from the side. We got to trim it up. So I'll explain why I do things this way. Okay, there's the amber purple from last night. It's just freaking stunning. And I love it because you got that. See how ambery it is? And then it just goes to purple. So this is what happens when it's out in the sunlight. And then kind of in the backlit like that. It has that amber color. So 2 reasons. I have it on a longer extension like this, okay? This isn't the way it does that. The reason I leave it like this is if I come out in the morning and let's say there's a little crack, I'll show you, sorry, one more side view. I'm sorry to do this. But this little spot right here is where it can crack, right there, okay? If anywhere it's going to crack, it'll be right there. And if that happens, I want to be able to put it back in the kiln and have a handle to it that's long enough that it goes deep enough in the kiln that it preheats, but won't burn my hand. So once I bring it out of the oven for the day and I realize it's all good to go, then I trim it to the proper size. That's why I don't do it right on live stream. Because you just, you never know what the glass is going to do. It could have a bad day. The glass can definitely have a bad day. And if it does, you want to have a long enough handle to put it much further in the kiln to preheat as opposed to right on the edge. So that's why I don't do it at night when I'm done. And then I check it in the morning and I do this. And then we just let it cool off. We'll put that over there. All right. We are good to go. I have a little sneak peek on something, if you guys are interested. So I've been working on these for a while, and they are the little cell phone pucks that go on the back of your phones. So we got this here, and you got the MagSafe, right? And then they have the little extensions here that pop out. I'm going to fit this with glass. So we're going to put a little glass puck on here, right here. We're going to adhere it to this section like Dichro or glow in the dark, something like that, and asphyxiate it to here and have this really cool little cell phone ring holder puck, whatever you want to call it. So we might work on that today or tomorrow. And you guys want to see how obsessed I am with glow in the dark? Here we go. Ready? That tells you how much into glow I am. It is all glow in the dark for the cell phone case. There we go. Yeah. It actually works pretty good too. I should make a Medusa. Medusa would be cool. I kind of did a Kraken out of uranium. The Kraken was really good. I did like the Kraken. Okay, so first things first, I'm going to cover a little bit this morning. So my stream during the day this is my work day, okay? It can be a little boring. It can be a little repetitive. It can be redundant. This is what the job is. At night is when we kind of do those hero moments where we do odd things that are really cool. And that's kind of how I operate. So we got to do some maintenance this morning. So this is a big old chunk of amber purple. We're going to extend it onto a rod here. We're going to pull up close. There we go. We're going to pull up close for this. So on these extensions here, they help you extend the life of color. All these colors are where 90% of your money goes to in this job. It's not your equipment, it's not oxygen, it's not propane. This right here, if you are into colored glass and you want lots of vibrant colors, this is where all your money is going to go. Unfortunately. And then we bring it down like that, creating a nice little fuse or weld on there. And you got to let it settle for a sec. It does become very bendable. Now for me, I like to pop it in the kiln temporarily to kind of balance out that little bit so it doesn't crack. Ooh. The marble we did last night. You guys want to take a peek at it? I put it back in the kiln to stripe the amber purple. You guys want a sneak peek at it? It depends on the custom piece. Colored rods are super expensive. Yeah, they run anywhere from like, well, right now I can't even say 35, but average like low budget color, meaning it's not bad quality, it's just not expensive to produce, is about $35 to $50 a pound right now. But a lot of the other colors can jump to $100, $150 a pound without a heartbeat. Not miss a heartbeat there. Yeah, it can definitely jump up real fast. All right, we're going to use Dragonfly's tool here. I'm going to give you guys a sneak peek to the marble from last night. We had to, I'm putting it back in the kiln. We're probably going to run it through 2 or 3 kiln cycles here. So I want you to pay attention to the color right now. Okay? So see the colors coming out? See how we're starting to get that color popping in? I'm going to show you what it looked like an hour earlier. I took a photo of it. What's up, beholders? So this is running through its kiln cycles. Okay, I'm going to show you. Remember what that looked like. Okay, just visually remember. Then I'll grab the phone and I'll show you what it looked like just earlier. Let me grab the photos here. Okay, I know I took photos. Where did they go? Oh, here they are. So that's what it looked like earlier. It's kind of enhancing the color right now with the lens on there, but man, it's not showing right. Let me show you in front of, let's do the front screen. There, that's what it really looked like. Okay, so I took a photo of it before and then we'll go after. And I took it right next to the rose right there this morning. That's the amber purple rose. Okay, so I wanted to preview that with you. I'm documenting kiln cycle 1, kiln cycle 2, and kiln cycle 3. So you can see it when it first comes out, running it through a kiln on once, running it through a kiln twice, and running it through a third time. How much the color changes. All right, let's make some stuff. All right, first things first, we got to do a little bit of color fusing. So we got little bits of amber purple like this. It becomes kind of not usable when you have so many of those little welds in there like that. So what we're going to do is we're going to take some time, bunch all this up, and we're going to pull it into a different rod. So we're going to take everything, put it back together. This is essentially recycling the glass. You know, and we're going to bunch it all up, and then we'll re-pull it into rods. This is part of the process. This is what happens on a daily basis. And if you are a lamp worker, glass blower, and you don't do this, you're throwing money away. Now, obviously, if you've got an import color like cobalt blue and you don't have a lot of it, there's not a whole lot wrong with, turning it into frit or something. Okay, I need little bits here. Here we go. So this one is a small little rod of amber purple right there with a big old chunk of clear. We're going to add that in. Now, the beauty of this, if you guys want to stick around for a little bit, you're going to see what amber purple looks like in a big old thick rod after it's been worked. It's pretty freaking cool looking. So we're going to melt all this together. We're only going to do a little bit here and there, and then we'll get on. I have a lot of production of flowers and hummingbirds and a couple other things on the schedule. Oh, we're going to be making a Seahawks marble. So we're going to be making the 2.5-inch marble in the Seahawks color. That's going to be a cool one. Yeah, recycling is super important in this, especially now with amber purple being so expensive. You definitely want to make sure you gather enough of it and pull it back into a useful rod. or you're just throwing money away. Like I said, it just kind of disappears and you go broke really fast. All right, so we got a little bit there. And I'm kind of showing you this also to show you just how much work goes into, like, what happens on a daily basis here. You know, while we're live streaming at night and we got those really cool pieces we're making, there's a lot of prep work that goes into making that happen. And this is part of that prep work. I'm thinking about maybe doing a full amber purple balloon dog tonight too. Maybe doing the full balloon dog, a bigger version of it though. Not the tiny one. So like an actual desk sculpture, not a hanging one. All right, so we're just mixing everything in right now. So if you're on vacay, what do you do with your website? You let everybody know. There should be a vacation mode on your website. But if you're using Shopify, there's a little AI buddy down there that'll tell you how to do that. I always put my website on vacation mode when I'm out. Now people can still, on my option, people can still order. But there's a, it says a big warning before you order saying, delayed by however long. All right, we got another section right here. So this is clear up here, and then that's the amber purple. So these little bits, you want to combine them all. Do I make spiders? No, Butterball, I don't. If you want spiders, especially on TikTok, there is a guy named Raphael Glass. Go to Raphael Glass. Where am I located out of? I am located in the state of Washington. Yeah, we are in the state of Washington. Yeah, go to Raphael Glass. He makes the best insects I've ever seen. In fact, I'm going to message him about, I want to buy a praying mantis. See, I would buy from him. That's how good he is. Rather than try and make a praying mantis, I would buy it from him. So that'll tell you how good he is. All right, so we got another section here. I'm going to do a little bit more, and then we'll get on to making some glass. Sorry. Yeah, that's my dog, Fritzy. That's Fritz, the giant schnauzer. All right, last one. This will be the last little rod we'll do for temporary. I got a lot of this to catch up on, but I'm not going to have you guys sit here all day while I do this. That's no fun either. All right, we're going to attach it down here. Technically, this isn't the best way to do that, but it works. All right, let's crank it up a little just to make sure we get it going a little faster here. Little heat on the subject. There we go. I love hanging out with you guys, though. Welcome to the morning melt with me. This is the daily life of what my life looks like for production, how we fill orders, what the process is, how I get started. And if you're curious about doing this as a hobby or career, especially career, this is the time to watch because you do end up seeing little things that problems you run into or issues, and they always happen. Nothing runs super smooth ever. Okay, so we got that little chunky monkey on there. Chunky monkey. Speaking of daily problems, everyday issues. Let's get that out of there. All right, let me show you what this looks like before and after. So we go through. So this is what the amber purple looks like. Look how you can see deep inside it right there. Now, as it cools off, that is going to kind of disappear. But this is what the amber purple looks like when you gather it all up. It's actually quite beautiful. Right there. Okay, that's a big chunk now. Lots of little rods combined into one. Now we're going to pull it down into a usable rod. I mean, this is usable, but for very rare instances. We're going to gather it here. And whenever I gather glass, I always use a very thick rod to start with. Because the last thing you want is these bigger chunks falling over while you're making it. All right, got to let it settle, and let's pull it. And Groves and Dragonfly, I sent you several of these thicker rods. I don't know if you guys have access to that big ol' chunky glass, but I sent you both versions of that. Just because it's not a common, it's not a common size to have. So this is 16 millimeter. All right, so we're going to give it a small little pull here, just a little bit, to start it out. Right there. Even in prep work, there is a lot of things that go into it. So you can see where we pulled it right into a taper right there. A little bit of a taper. We're going to leave the framework up close so I can show you how the pull actually goes. Here we go. Again, this is part of recycling the glass. Recycling this stuff is super important. I think it's important overall, in general anyway. I mean, glass is the easiest thing to recycle. It's just heavy. So when I'm pulling these colors, I pull at a downward angle. So I'm taking the heaviest part and pulling it down. Two reasons. One, it allows me to kind of let the weight of the glass help with the pull. And two, I find it works a lot better. Some people pull this way. I don't prefer that. I just messed up my rod a little bit, but that's okay. Showing you that difference there. Now, when I have to heat the whole thing, I'll come back this direction. Then when I go to pull again, we'll come back this way. Yeah, I just wobbled that. That's okay, though. It doesn't need to be incredibly super straight. And there we go. So we got a lot of amber purple built here. Now, a lot of people probably asking, if you're not in this business or you're not familiar with glass, why is that a big deal? What did I just do that's a big deal? Well, we saved a color that's now $100 a pound. And I probably, out of that, just made enough to be about $15 worth. Between 10 and 15 on this rod, depending on the thickness and how much it weighs. So that just saved me $10 to $15 right there, instead of throwing it away. All right, we're going to use the side cam so I can show you kind of the effect. So when we started the pull, it's back here. Now everything will be up in these colors up here as we get going. We're going to kind of see all those colors. That's why it's my favorite freaking color. Look at that. Watch. Boring. Not boring. Boring. Not boring. That's why I always say it looks like tie-dye to me. All right, we put that off to the side. So one of the things I use to set the rods on are just straight up bricks. Like normal bricks, and then I spray them with graphite. Graphite spray. All right, last time we're going to show this, and then we're going on to making flowers. So this is the amber purple from last night. There we are. Look how purpley that got. Man, that got purple. I don't know what. Sometimes they just come out way more purple. It does kind of have that purple hue. Okay, so this is the last little thing I want to show, and then we definitely have to go. Sorry, I always said. So I have this rosebud, okay? This is a straight up red rosebud. Okay, we made it on live. Not a lot of interest in it. I think people like the full-blown flowers much better. What's up, Daisy Girl? Hey, Red Squeak. So I'm going to probably do something with this interesting. I'm not sure yet what. But if there's no interest in like purchase versus not, we're going to change it into something unique. We'll do something awesome with it. Okay, let's go. Wind it up. Oh shit, I don't want to say that. That's like Balin. I don't want to be Balin. Okay. Yeah. We're going to come back to this. Let's go ahead and just do a straight up flower right now. We're going to be making a straight flower right now. Just very basic. And here we go. I know tie-dye. Tie-dye is so beautiful. I mean, when done correctly, I think tie-dye looks really good. I don't like neon tie-dye. I see a lot of that happening out there. I'm not a big fan of neon tie-dye. But to me, what amber purple looks like is a Damascus steel of glass. You know, amber purple, when done correctly, has like a Damascus steel look to it. All right, there's my taco petal. Here we go. Okay, Daisy. So this is what I call the taco petal because, A, it pretty much looks like a taco. This is the very beginning of the flower. Al Bundy, but man, I love Married with Children. Married with Children was such an epic show. All right, let's go. Let's get it. You know, what I liked about Married with Children, a lot of people miss they kind of miss some of the nuances in there. Let me see if I can bring this out just a little. Nope, too far. There. A lot of people miss the nuances in Married with Children. And I think the part that I enjoyed about it was, you know, Al Bundy always had the drama with the family and blah, 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 blah. You know, but like if someone hurt his daughter or wife or son, Al Bundy came out. Like the real Al Bundy. And that part was kind of the little subtle nuance that was missed in that show by a lot of people. Is no matter what, you protect your family. We're making a flower right now. We're going to build up in stages. So about every third or fourth petal, I'm going to show you where we're at. So I like to incorporate the audience into the process. Like you guys, the audience. So as we're going through, I'm going to show you stages as we go through. So I think it's incredibly important to explain what's going on than to just sit here and not show you all where we're at. So this is the first stage. This is kind of like it doesn't look like much of anything stage, okay? And this is the hardest part as a glassblower to get over. When you start making things, they don't appear correct. You kind of look at it and go, okay, how's that going to turn into a flower? Trust the process and keep working through it. So the next 3 petals we put on is going to start to make it look like an actual flower. Now for me, I have a very specific routine that I use on this, and it helps me keep the consistency the same, how I layer these in, the angles at which I layer them in, where they get placed. Each one is a built system that I've developed over years, making thousands of these guys. And I'm not going to get into any of that because it's way too technical. But I do think it's important to include everybody in the process of how things are made. And it kind of makes it really nice. Okay. Got a whole series of Married with Children. Yeah, I love that show. Okay, so next things that we have going on now. Since we got a few people in here, I'm trying to develop the next app where we have a little bit more of a connection and I can answer questions in a community with regard to glass or even business as an artist. Okay, a lot of the principles that I use for business can be done whether you paint watercolors or origami, you know, any of these things, and how I've done it for 32 years. Anyway, I have a choice between using Patreon and School, Skool. If you wouldn't mind putting in chat what you prefer, Patreon or School, which one is more, like, which one would you trust more? Which would you be more happy with? Each one has its pluses and minuses. But again, if I'm trying to build a community, I want to build it around what people want. What's up, L to the B in the house? How you doing? How's your day going? You always have chaos. And I feel bad that I can't bring you any more relief from the chaos, L to the B. Throw some happiness your way. And thank you for being such a big supporter for so many years. I really appreciate you. I really, really do. Okay, I forgot to show you the pedals. So we're going to do 2 more, and then I'll show you where we're at. Patreon is more user-friendly. That's what I'm asking. Thank you, Spartan. Patreon. So my goal in using these is, A, to have courses on teaching people how to do this particular thing, glassblowing. And then the second portion of it would be, as an artist or, someone that creates things, business, what lessons have I learned? What things would I do? What wouldn't I do in the future? There's a lot of things that I've encountered that people that are new in business won't know what to do with. Example, when doing consignment with a store or a gallery, there are so many different nuances about consignment that people just don't understand until a problem arises. And we'll cover a couple of them. We'll do a short lesson right here. So if you are an artist and you need to get your name out there, or you need to get into a local store or gallery, and the only thing they do is consignment, what is a fair split in consignment? So that's the first thing you need to ask yourself. Okay, there we are. We're starting to get that flowery look. There we go. So first rule of thumb, what's a fair split? How much should a gallery make? I mean, they have to make money because they are a business too. They got to make money. But what's fair? Second rule of thumb when dealing with a gallery or a facility, if you have an item that breaks, who covers the cost of the breakage? If it's in their possession, who covers that cost? Okay, it's been limited. Oh, that's good. I'm happy about that. So that's second rule of thumb. Who covers breakage? You got to have that agreed upon before you ever put an item in someone's gallery or store. Okay? Because I've been in a situation where I've dropped off items with people, and I go to pick it up, and everything was broken. Everything. And they just hand it back to you going, yeah, it didn't sell, thanks. And I looked and I was like, what happened? They're like, well, I had it on a shelf. The shelf, slipped off and fell and broke. So your items were on that shelf. Sorry about that. Well, in my world, that's not my fault. But I didn't have an agreement of if you break it, you are responsible for. So when someone has no skin in the game, meaning if they break it, they don't care, they're not going to lose any money, they are less likely to take care of your items. Okay? So, rule of thumb, who covers breakage? For that. Now, my standard policy was if it was a single item, if it was a simple fix, I had the right to waive a breakage fee if I could repair it. If it was totally demolished, if the customer was really good, sometimes I'd waive it, if it was once in a while. If I walked in monthly and there were 3 or 4 items, then my rule of thumb was 50%. So that was my rule of thumb, was a 50%. The store pays 50% and you eat 50%. And that worked out really well. Yeah, there's lots of stuff in Branson. I got to go out to Branson and check it out at some point. There we go. I'll tell you, though, that furnace is not cheap to operate. That stuff is expensive. There we go. So we are doing, we're making this out of clear right now. And then we're going to do a process called gold fuming on this. So we're going to use pure gold and vaporize it and turn it kind of like a cranberry color. So right now it has to be done in clear, and then we will add in color. But anyway, so back to it. Looks like Patreon people prefer more than school. So I'll definitely have to look at starting the Patreon account. So yeah, there'll be a creators, a store owner business, self-artist portion of it. And then there's going to be a how to learn glassblowing portion of it. The torches, tools, and equipment that I recommend doesn't necessarily mean it's the end all beat all of advice. A lot of people have different opinions, but what I think is valuable for tools and equipment. And then the third portion will be just plain old access. So if you guys have questions about anything related to the glass or YouTube or what I'm doing, it'll be more personal. You don't have to send emails or anything. There'll be a community board that we can kind of chat on. And we'll probably link it up with the Discord channel too. And then a little bit of, live stream Q&A. So that is my fun stuff for the future here. Plate is full. Okay, last one here. I'm going to show you, and then we're going to increase the pedal size a little bit. We got to go up a little bit more. And we are currently filling an order. This one is for a customer. All right, last little bit before we start going a little bit larger on the pedals. So I try and keep it as centered in there as much as possible. Try and keep them popping up as close on the inside. And then they fill out that way. All right, let's go. So the next set of pedals, we're going to make the ball that I smash a little bit bigger. How do you clean glass flowers? Oh, that's actually a good question. There are two ways. One, there's a thing called chandelier cleaner. You can get it on Amazon. It's super easy to access. It's called chandelier cleaner, and it's what I use to clean the chandelier in my house. Okay, my chandelier is massive, and I'm not going to climb up on a ladder to try and clean that sucker all the time. So the chandelier cleaner, you just literally spray it, let it drip. It's non-toxic, non-invasive, and it cleans everything. So the flowers you could do the same way. The other way and the other option, and it sounds like it's safe, but you do have to be careful, is running it in a sink. So if you have a spray nozzle on your sink, god dang it. So I'll show you a little mistake here. We'll fix it, but I'm going to show you one of the little mistakes that happen. And right there. Oh, where is it at? Right there. So see that pedal right there? It's stuck. That little tip right there stuck to the bottom pedal. Just that little fusing right there. Can't leave that. It will for sure crack this flower. So take little scissors and just snap it. There. So chandelier cleaner is my best advice. Second, running it under a sink with, don't use Windex. Use, I think the best thing I have found is 70% alcohol, like 70% isopropyl alcohol. Works really good. And spray it on, and then just let the sink rinse it off. And let it air dry. Do not try and take a towel and get in between the nooks and crannies. If you find that you did get a bunch of dirt in the nooks and crannies of your flower, grab a pipe cleaner, not Q-tip. Pipe cleaners are really awesome for getting in the nooks and crannies. catastrophic. How are you? So if you get dirt in the nooks and crannies, I would absolutely get a pipe cleaner. It's very flexible, super easy to manipulate, and it's not abrasive. Makeup brush works too, but grows, my makeup brush inventory is not as big right now. I don't have a lot of makeup brushes, but that's a great solution. But pipe cleaners are super inexpensive. But don't use a Q-tip. Use the pipe cleaner. And the reason I say don't use a Q-tip is sometimes the Q-tip can get stuck in there and leave a little cotton ball. Not fun. All right, there we are. We're looking really fantastic. We have one more set of petals to go on, and this flower will be all done. One more set. Then we're going to color it. And the other option is to just boil the water. So you put the head of the flower into boiling water for 10 seconds, and it will clean it. If you really want to make it super simple, put a couple dashes of salt into your boiling water, and then dip the head of the flower into the pot and let it sit for 10 seconds. Bring it out, let it air dry. Be completely safe and good. Those are my recommendations. Having done this for so many years, I can tell you those are the things that I have found to be best. The care and feeding of your flower. Yeah, I don't use blow nozzle, depending on the air pressure. But I find that it doesn't get all the dust and stuff out. Like sometimes you get little, especially if you have a humid place, the dirt and the humidity can get in there. But the air nozzle will work really good if you have a bug that got stuck in there. I had a flower that a little fly got into, and it got stuck deep inside. I was like, really? And I couldn't get it out. So my solution for that was I put it in the barbecue. So I just put the head of the rose in the barbecue and roasted the bug out. Just barbecued the bug out. RC trucks are same thing. That's a lot of cleaning. But I like alcohol, isopropyl alcohol for cleaning glass. I think it works fantastic. All right, here we go. We're going to attach the last petal on here. Then we'll do the little extensions, and we're going to color this guy up. All right, that was the last petal. It's fully complete now. Got a nice volume to it. Yeah, this one has nice volume. This is why I kind of like this size. I think the has a nice volume. In other words, it's big enough that it looks cool, but it's not too big. And then it has enough fill. I can't tell you how many flowers I see people do with like 5 petals or 6 petals on there, and then they call it done. I'm like, okay. All right, so this last little bit here, this is kind of, it's not 100% necessary, but I think it works. Damn it, got too hot right there. Melted that petal. So what I'm doing is I'm locking in the petals to the stem. I'm going to try and get as close as I can here. See how I just locked that right into that petal. Now I'm going to bring it over here. See that gap in between those petals? Right there, the two on the bottom? If I leave it be, that is a point at which it could fail. So in order to alleviate that failure possibility, I'm going to grab a little clear, and I'm going to go right in between those two petals, adhere some solid glass, and slap it right onto the stem. And it just kind of locks everything in place. It keeps it from falling off, keeps it from cracking, and it just makes it really good. Kiki, thank you so much. We're going to do the third one. Now, usually I have 3 separations in here, and that's why I do 3 of them. So if you have 6 petals on the bottom row, you're going to have 3 of those gaps. And that's how I determine how many you put on there. Did you crack? I don't think so. All right, then we kind of fuse it together a little bit. And I'll show you where we're at. So now we got lots of fill in there. And then on the bottom, you can see everything's kind of fused in there. Very solid. Okay, next step, we're going to be adding the colors on here. I don't think I pulled any gold ahead of time. Oh, crap. All right, I need a minute. We're going to snap some silver and gold off here. I got to put this in the kiln. I did not prep for this. Let's do the gold first. So this is pure gold. It comes off of a Canadian maple leaf, the coin itself. Actually, I'll use a side view since that camera works well. Bring it out here. And you can see the, really, focus. There we go. Really? All right. Anyway, there's the Canadian maple leaf. It is chewed up a little. So we're going to take that coin and, yeah, it's definitely not liking that focus sometimes. Anyway, we're going to chunk a little piece off there. Now, the nice thing about gold is it's super easy to do because it's a very soft metal. You just take some wire nippers and get a little chunk. We're going to pop it right in this little section up here. Then we're going to grab some silver. Now the silver comes from the Canadian maple leaf as well. This will probably show it a lot better. Like, oh, side view. Damn it. So there's the Canadian maple leaf I use, like that. So we take these guys and we chop them up. Now I have a couple bars that came out of a .999 version. And I'll show you kind of what happens and how I do this as well, because I get this question a lot. How do you separate the silver? So let's come off to the side here. So this is a big old Sunshine. This was Mom's. This is a big old Sunshine Mint bar. You can see where I melted it and let it drip down. And what ends up happening is you get these little silver nuggets when you drip it into water. So you get those little tiny silver nuggets. You let it drip into water, and you get that. All right. And then this was a Canadian maple leaf that I used where I did that dripping. So this was the Canadian maple leaf. Well, that fell on the floor somewhere. I'll find it later. But anyway, that's how I get my silver done. So I drip it into a bowl of water. And the little pebbles go in there, and then you have, just pick them out later. Ashland. Ashland's really, I love Ashland. When I was back in school, we went to the Ashland Renaissance Festival, the Shakespeare Festival. That was always fun. My school had a tour to the Ashland Ren Fest, or Shakespeare Fest, not Ren Fest. Okay, we're going to bring this out. Hopefully I can get so you guys can see the little silver nugget that we had pulled off. There it is. So that little nugget popped right there. So there's the silver sitting in the glass rod like that. Next we have to do the gold. So for the gold, I'm going to start using a different color on the gold. You know what? I'm going to try a little amber purple on here. No, that'd be bad. That'll actually change the color of the gold. We'll use a little cobalt. So when you have the kiln that's hot and you have little metals sitting in there, you want to be able to identify which one is gold and which one is silver. And I used to do this, and I forgot about this technique. So I put a little cobalt nugget on here, a little ball. And then I know that when I see cobalt on there, it's gold. When it's non-cobalt, it's silver. We're going to heat that up and grab that gold. Fuse it on there. We'll use the side cam so you guys get a little bit. Let's hope it shows up. And there's the little gold nugget sitting right there. There it is. So that's a little tiny gold nugget. It is 0.9999 pure. That little tiny chunk. All right, we're going to take that flour we did earlier in clear. We're going to pop it up a little bit. No wonder that was hurting. I'll show you the last little bit. I kept feeling this, and I kept thinking it was see that little sharp on the bottom? So that little sharp blade looking thing? I was wondering what the hell was cutting me. There we go. All right, let's warm this up, and then we're going to start the coloring process. So we got to warm it up first. So this is the warming phase. We're just bringing it up another 500 degrees, not much. We're not bringing up a tremendous amount, like 500 degrees is enough. Okay, so I'm going to show you side view. This is last chance to see it in clear. There we are. And let's get it. So we're going to do the cobalt with the gold. This is just the gold. We're not doing silver. We're going to change the flame chemistry. Keep your eye on the flower up here. You're going to see it suddenly start to change color pretty quick here. It happens very rapidly. There we are, a little bit more. And the nice thing is you get to see it in real time. I think the side view works really good for that. Then you got to get in between those nooks and crannies. Change that flame just a little bit. There we are. Woo! That's what I'm talking about. So that is the gold on there. You can see how elegant it is now. Isn't that pretty? All right, time for a little borax laundry soap. And this is truly borax laundry soap. It helps enhance the color. It also locks the color in place. So let's add it in. I'm just heating up the rod, keeping this hot out here. There's no borax on here at the moment. Put a little dippy dip right here. And here we go. So this is going to change the color. It's also going to lock that gold onto the piece. So gold by itself will not stick to the glass at all. And there we are. A little bit more. Probably going to have to throw a little more gold back on it. It changed the coloring a little too much. But that's okay. Park it off to the side. Bring it out. Now you're going to notice the color completely changed. So there is the color change with the borax. Now, this isn't the exact color I want. So we're going to pop in a little more gold, and then it will not rub off at all. Change my flame chemistry here, right about there. Let's add a little more gold on there and call it done. You can also pre-borax it. You can put borax first and then do gold, and you'll get a whole different color as well. Now, because I advertised it this way, this is the exact color science I need to use. And you're going to see how much it changed again. And here we go. Look how much it already changed. And now we got some of those cranberries coming in. Not more of the orange, but a little bit of the cranberry. We got some orange up here I need to fix. Just that. But the rest of it went back into that cranberry look. What's up, Penthouse? If you guys are not following Penthouse Pew on here, got to give that awesome glass blower a follow. He makes amazing marbles. He's awesome. He's fun to watch, too. All right, let's get a little bit of that gold popped right into the center portion there. I don't like the way it was looking. Yeah, that's a little better. So here we are. We're back into it. The camera's not showing it correctly, but that little bit of orangey is actually very purpley like these bottom ones. It's just not showing on the camera. I have a didymium lens on here. So this way you can see it's very organic. Yeah, Penthouse is an awesome lamp worker. What's up, Mama Katie? Kelly, what's happening? Yeah, Penthouse is awesome. We got Grove's Glass Gallery in here too. And we have Dragonfly Creation. All glass blowers y'all should follow. Definitely cool people you should follow. I like giving shout outs to people that I know and trust. Every one of them, every person that I just mentioned for live streaming glassblowing, I trust in the fact that they're very audience friendly. They're like low risk, if you know what I mean. Oh, thank you, Mama KD. Let me show you one of the marbles. So, speaking of marbles, I'm running it through a second kiln cycle. I'm going to show you what it looks like now versus what it looked like this morning. This will be a good thing for you guys to see too. Let's turn this down for a second. So we're running it through a secondary amber purple kiln cycle. I'm probably going to do one more today. I'm going to cool it down and run it through one more cycle. So this is amber purple and mega mai tai. So I'm going to show you guys what it looks like right now. And it's probably going to change even more after I run it through another kiln cycle. But here we go. So now we got those colors popping through. See this side? So I have to face it up in the kiln that way. So this was up facing in the kiln. This was on the bottom of the kiln mat. I have to switch that in order to get these amber purples popping in there. Let me see if I can get it that way. There. So it almost has a heart shape. Can you see that heart shaped in there? Almost looks like a heart. But anyway, we're going to run it through another kiln cycle and get it to pop out a lot more. Now let me show you what it looked like as of this morning when I pulled it out of the kiln first time. I'm going to have to do a front camera though. So this is what it looked like. Well, oh, damn it. I switched the... Why would it do that? I hit a button. So there's what it looked like as of this morning. We'll zoom in on it. It still had really good color, but not quite that deep, deep, deep color. Yeah, I was saying, so Penthouse, I have a batch, a few rods left over from the original, when Paul first developed Mega Mai Tai, he called and said the batch was off a little and asked me if I wanted some, so I bought it. So it's like an enhanced, rich version of Mega Mai Tai. And so I was using that. It's like a crazy, crazy, crazy. No, I have not done agate yet. This is the Mega Mai Tai enhanced version here. Let me, one more side view, sorry. So this is the Mega Mai Tai enhanced, the very first batch of it. See how it kind of went crazy? It's just created all these weird color aspects that are crazy with it. Yeah, I'm getting ready to place an order with Molten Aura, so maybe I'll pop it in there. No, this isn't CFL. No, this is just Mega Mai Tai. Just one color, Mega Mai Tai. That's all. No CFL, no nothing. Don't need it. I don't like CFL colors. I'm not a big fan of CFL colors. Yeah, if you ever run out of a color, Penthouse, just let me know. Like, if you want some experimental colors you've never... Like, I've got some old stuff. I'm happy to share with you because you have the flowers and you make awesome little versions of that. You don't need a lot of color. All right, we got to make a flower again. Sorry. We are on a kick for flowers today. We're going to do the cobalt blue version, though. We're going to make the cobalt flower. that's too much. And then we're going to fume on top of that. And there is the perfect version. All right, so we're going to do the same flower, but we're going to we're going to do it with cobalt, and then we're going to put gold on top of that. There we go. I got you, Penthouse. Yeah, I've got some really rare freaking colors you could try out. Like I got the original moss that was messed up into a teal color. And it got known as Super Sparkle Teal, NS52 Sparkle. And not available, obviously. They don't even make teal anymore. Anyway, it's super stable inside deep encasements. You can like hit it as hard as you want and you're not going to have any cracks. I can send you a version of that. I do sell what I make. Absolutely. 100%. What's up, Jonas? How are you? Lamborghini. Good to see you. You know, I was thinking about it the other day. I watch a car channel called DDE, Daily Driven Exotics. I like their content. I think it's kind of cool. Not really for the cars as much as I like their content on YouTube. Anyway, they're really into Lamborghini. And I don't make horses, okay? I don't make horses. But I've been thinking about maybe trying the Lamborghini horse for them. All right, there's my taco pedal. I call it the taco because obvious reasons. Looks like a taco. But yeah, I was thinking about doing like the Lamborghini horse. I thought it might be kind of cool and send it off to them. Yeah, Daily Driven Exotics is really a good channel. And it's not, they're into the cars, but like they show really fun content. Like getting pulled over in a supercar because you're in a supercar and they pull you over. Some people have been really cool with them and some not so cool. But yeah, I really like the content. Stevan, what's up? From Kentucky. And here we go. And we're rocking it. So about every third or fourth pedal, I will show you the progress as we go through. Because I hate watching live streams where people don't participate in it. They just kind of sit and focus. They don't show you the progress. This is more of a how it's made, not how to make it channel. I mean, you can pick up a few things here and there, but yeah, it's kind of where I'm at with it. So once we add the silver or cobalt or silver or gold on top of the cobalt, it looks outstanding. Let's go ahead and go to the side view so you can see. So in the beginning, it doesn't look like much. It really has no organic appeal to it. So we're going to continue doing this. It is neat to see the process. I think it is. You know, that's my value in the content. I don't like watching live streams where you get to see partial, but you don't get like You don't get to see what's going on. I got that little, I had to extend the color a little bit. And let's get this all done. Next, well, I'll show you in the next 3 petals what the progress looks like. The next 3 kind of turns it into a little bit of a flowery shape. It's not quite there, but it's close. Not quite there, just close. And then about petal 9 and 10, it starts really forming up. And once we get to 15, 15 kind of fills everything up. Yeah, the jellyfish lamp has uranium tentacles on the bottom. So that's what's all going. Damn it, something's itching my nose. Yeah, that has the uranium tentacles. Smooth that out. Then we'll put one more on and I'll show you the progress. A little bit more. All right, let me carve this in. Pop it out. There we go. So now you can see we're starting to get a little bit of that. It looks very much in that Celtic knot version, but we're starting to get a little bit of a shape to it. Now we just have to go a little bit more. I appreciate it. I appreciate the subs. Yeah, we're getting close to the 20,000 subscriber mark on YouTube, which is really awesome. And TikTok, we're hovering in the 30,000s or so. I wish I could combine all my TikTok accounts. That would be good. Then we'd be sitting at like 300 and something thousand. I know they should do something about all the TikTok accounts, because I had to change like accounts twice, and that sucked. So the first one we got up to like 115,000, 115 or 140, somewhere in there. Second one was like 125 or so. And then I had to start the third one because of the whole agency debacle. Okay, this is petal 9, 10, and 9 and 10 that we got to here. So now you can see it's starting to forming out. We got a little bit of character to it. Not quite all the way there, but this is where it starts developing a really nice... I know, that would be good, Red Squeak. All right, one more. I don't want that. Hold on, let me chunky monkey this off. Boop. Forgot my pliers were hot there. My flatteners are hot. Hate that. There, that's easy. Get rid of that. All right, we're going to add this one's a little bit thicker. I want to do one more set of petals, just a little bigger, and then we're going to go to the big cobalt and really make this flower look a lot bigger. We're going to change it all up. It out. Two more. And then we're going to go to the really big cobalt. And then when this one gets fumed with either silver or gold, I have to do two versions of it, so we're going to be doing both today. It looks amazing. And we're going to bring it in and fuse it in. Last one. And then we're going to go to the super cobalt. No, that's not the marble from... That's the marble that cracked. That's my cracky marble. Crack is bad. That's my crack is bad marble. And we're going to bring it out here. And there we are. I'm going to do a little video on that marble too, talking about why things crack and how it cracked and what happened as a result of it. There we go. All right, we're going to use a larger version of the cobalt. This is the big chunky monkey blue. I forgot, I want to pull it in a little bit. You guys have been watching in the wrong view. There we are. All right, we're going to bring it back out. We're going to do a good view. What's up, Dusty? KCH, how are you? You've never known how they come together? Yeah, that's what I'm saying. I like bringing attention to how this stuff is formed. And I'm not here to go into like tutorials of how it's made or how to make it. It's more of a how it's made. And I try to explain that all the time. That this is really about how it's made, not how to make it. I'm not teaching. But you can learn a hell of a lot by watching. And I do kind of explain some of the little processes as we're going through. Why I do things a certain way, why I put them on a certain way, what I do at the end. But no, it's not a tutorial guide of how to make a rose or flower. Okay, next one we're popping on. Now, when I show you the 3 that are on here, you're definitely going to see a difference. Bring it out here. And then let's do one more. It's definitely a big difference. You can for sure see it. It's kind of like one of those petals is sitting there, and there's an old phrase of which one of these kids is doing his own thing, like that. All right, here we go. Woo, looking good. And side view. You can see how hot the hand gets. You can see how it's getting kind of toasty there. Now that's radiating heat from the flower itself. It's not painful. It's not harming me. I'm all good. But you can definitely see how those bigger petals down there, that one, and that one, definitely are sticking out right now. Pine cones. I've made a couple. It's just a matter of stacking them up on top of each other. I've done a couple pine cones, and yeah, it's just same thing, just stacking. And you don't want to pull them too much to a point, but it does get a little fragile. I mean, gets a little bit fragile when the pine cones get in. All right, 2 more to go for sure. At least 2 more. Crocheted roses? That's awesome. I want to learn how to do the origami rose. Those paper origami roses would be really cool. That'd be a fun item to make. My problem is, as I watch a video on how to make it like origami, the dyslexia kicks in and I start doing things backwards and then it doesn't turn out. And it's very frustrating. But yeah, I'll watch something on video and go, oh yeah, I could do that. And I go to attempt it and make it backwards. It's like a little frustrating on that end. All right, one more here. And we're going to squish. Right there. Get it fused in there. Yeah, we're looking good. We are fantastic on this. Bring it out before we do any of the fuming. So now you can see the effects of it before we start adding the gold or silver. I don't know which one we're going to do. What would you guys rather see, gold or silver on this? Let me know in the chat real quick. I have to make it very fast. Gold or silver to add on? I have to make the decision pretty fast. Just warming it up. Lots of silver on TikTok. Yeah, and now YouTube. All right, we're going to do the silver. I got to make another one today, so we'll be doing the gold as well. So you're not going to miss out on anything, I promise. All right, let's add the little bottom extensions down here. We got to do gold anyway later. I just wanted to make it another one. Awesome, Tommy. I appreciate that. Here we go. Getting hiccups. And there we are. So that is what I call the lock-in. It just locks the stem to the flower head itself. All right, let's warm it up. Look at that side view. That part I think is amazing. That little hot shot where you got the red. I love that view like that. Yep, we're doing silver for sure. All right, so we got the cobalt. Last look at it before we change it up. So this is in just pure cobalt phase. And we're going to grab the silver. Little tiny chunk on the end here. Hopefully there it is. Oh, it picked it up for like 1 second. There. That little chunk right there, that's the silver. All right, camera's pissing me off. Let's go. So you're going to see it kind of magically change in camera real time, and poof. A little bit right there, and poof. Bring it out. And now you can see how we just changed it. That little bit of silver. All right, we got to meld it in there. So this is kind of like burning it in. Right now it's just sitting on the surface. I kind of want to meld it in there, like get it to stick into the matrix of the glass. I can't tell you how many people claim to be like fuming experts and they don't know this part. All right, here we go. And 3, 2, 1. Boom. And that is level 1 badass. All right, let's do the borax. I love the silver and glass. I'm just a facilitator for it. I just help it get there. All right, here we go. We're going to add the borax, light coating of it, just a little bit. I'm not going to do too much because it doesn't need a whole lot. So yes, it is borax laundry soap. Wow. Yeah, this one, for some reason, it definitely popped out. Look at that. Look at that color without the lighting. Can you guys see the purples and blues coming out? Like right there. And here we go, the reveal. 3, 2, 1. And that is a beautiful color. Look at that. Aurora Borealis in the center. All right, we just pop that in the kiln. Yeah, that looks good. I like that. Yeah, 100%. I love it. Okay, I need to take a short bio break. And then all I'm making today is roses and flowers. You're more than welcome to come back in just a minute, but I definitely need to take a bio break. My eyeballs are floating. Yeah, we're doing flowers. So I would love to have you back on the live stream. If you don't, that's okay. Tune in tonight because we got some fun stuff set up for tonight. Yeah, it's very soon. I got to check on Fiery Mom, myself, and then we'll be back. It's going to be, like I said, just roses. So I'm sorry for that boring part of it, but we'll be right back. I promise I'll be right back.